Folks, what is happening? And welcome back. And today, I am with one of boxing's true road warriors. He is a veteran journeyman who has been in the fight game for over 2 decades. Is that right?
Yes, mate, yes.
Over 2 decades, hundreds of bouts from boxing, like we talked about, bare knuckle, K1 and MMA. He has fought everyone from flyweight to heavyweight, a record-breaking 14 weight classes. The man, this man is the guy promoters call to test prospects or when a card needs filled or saved. This isn't about spotless records and shiny belts this episode. It's about grit, survival and keeping the boxing world turning. Marty Kayes, welcome to the Punchline Podcast.
Thank you, mate.
Great to have you on. Whenever we'd sat down and this all became a thing, whenever Jack and stuff was doing, who would you like to come on? Your name was always in the running. I'd love to bring Marty on because everyone that's kind of coming have been, and it is about the good records and the shiny belts and whatever, but that's only one side of the game.
Yeah.
Very rarely does anyone ever get to sit down with the guys that keep boxing moving, really. Which they're known as the Journeyman.
Yeah.
You know? I think a good place to start is, and to get a good understanding of you from the viewers, is to go right back to the start. So, where you grew up and how it all began.
Right. I grew up just outside Downpatrick and was in a school in Crossgar in Comkills, and I got kicked out of there just for being an arsehole. Things haven't changed. And I went to the Deal of Salon Downpatrick again. And I met one of my best friends. He was the best man at my wedding, Frankie Savage. And we'd left school. I was about 18, 19. And he says, do you want to go to a boxing club? And there was no boxing clubs around our way. So the nearest one was the All Blacks up in Glasdrumlin up far side Newcastle. So I didn't really appeal to me, to be honest. And he said to me, mate, you'll get more chicks. He says, if you're a boxer, you'll get more chicks. And that's where the story started as far as boxing goes. He said to me, I'll give it a go then.
We've got a guy behind the camera here who works along with Jack, big Chris Cash. That's why he got into boxing too.
I hope it worked for you because it didn't work for me.
Still working.
So he was the main one to kind of draw you into the boxing club?
Yep.
And what age were you then?
I was actually late. I was 18, 19.
Okay.
19, I would say. And we went up, and Paddy Quinn, who was my coach, my only amateur coach the whole way through, only boxed amateur for 4 years. And Paddy Quinn, I was there my second night. Paddy Quinn put me in with Martin Poland, who's passed away now. Martin was a brilliant coach as well. Martin was a light heavyweight, and he won the light heavyweight novice or something, but he was decent, like he could fight. And he put me on him sparring on my second night, and I think he just thought, he's an arsehole, get rid of him now.
Yeah.
And put me in, but I got a dig to the face, and that's when I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is the turning point for
that, you know yourself in the gym.
Yeah.
Sometimes a kid gets a punch in the nose and not be back.
Yeah. Everyone looks great on the bags and the pads, but really get them in, and once you see them getting the wee dig in the bake, you know what you've got.
Yeah, yeah.
What so you hung around the amateur game for 4 years. What did you pick anything up in the amateurs?
I won the Down Armagh. The club we were in was in the Down Armagh section. So I won the Down Armagh 3 times. That was pretty minor, and then I got 2 intermediate finals, which is now the seniors. It used to be called intermediates. I got into 2 finals. I lost in the 2 finals, and that was the height of my thing. I had about 65 fights.
Yeah.
Over the 4 years.
Over the 4 years.
I was busy. I was always I was just turning up at shows with my gum shield in case somebody pulled out. And that's how I got my experience.
It's what I always say to all the boxers, even if you're going out, always pack your gum shield. What for? Because you never know.
And if you get your gum shield, you get free sandwiches.
There you go. That's it. I'm one of the boxers, look. I've got my gum shield with me. So at that time when you would have been then in the seniors, were they still being held in the Ulster Hall then, or were
it was because the seniors, it was the intermediates that are called.
The intermediates.
They're called seniors now. It was the intermediates back then. Always the Dockers Club. Yeah.
In the Dockers. Yeah. Good venue, the Dockers.
Yeah.
That would have been went back to even the times whenever I was boxing. I always remember the Dockers when you were up in the ring. It was just like there was like a haze of smoke over the top rope.
Yeah, because they were still smoking.
They were still smoking at the
yeah.
time. And back to the car, take a big deep breath. Oh, not a smoker.
That was the way. Yep.
Yeah. So what was the ambition whenever you started boxing to always kind of turn pro, or what was what was the change?
I'll tell you what it was. Took an unlicensed fight. I seen this thing, and some guy I know offered me an unlicensed fight. It was over in Birmingham. I went over and I took this unlicensed fight. And unlicensed game's crazy, and some of the smaller shows, the likes of Alan Mortlock, who runs the IB in Essex, he does everything perfect. It's like a pro show you run. But I went to a show and the guy was like 1.5 stone, 2 stone heavier on me. So I went out there and I was getting a few quid for it. So I went out and looked after myself. And Nobby Nobbs and his friend Andy Myers were at the show. Nobby's who I turned professional with, and Andy was his right hand man. They said, you're actually good looking after yourself, and advised me to go pro with them. So about, I'd say it was 2 months later, I was fighting professional, yeah.
Didn't take much convincing?
No. They talked about money and stuff, and there's me, I may as well pay for this around a plastic trophy. Don't get me wrong, at the start you loved your plastic trophies, but you can only take so many, can't you? Like?
The older you get, and kind of the more hurtful the punch, the more mature you get when you start feeling starting to hurt a bit. It becomes more than the plastic trophies, doesn't it? I'll do this for a couple of quid, make it worth my while. So the unlicensed scene, it was relatively heavy over in England and stuff, wasn't it?
It's massive in England. I know it's getting a lot bigger here.
Yeah.
But it was massive in England, so it was. But I diddled about in a few different shows up north in the Midlands, but when I did, I boxed pro for a good few years before I went back to unlicensed, but when I went back to unlicensed, the only ones I boxed for was Alan Mortlock in Essex. He's the main man. He's the godfather of unlicensed boxing. Everything's professionally run as you could think of, like.
Yeah. Because it is, like, even when you look back, you Google or even YouTube unlicensed boxing, you've got your Lenny McLean's, your Roy Shaws, and they were kind of, for me anyway.
Alan Mortlock's first show, his first unlicensed show, Nigel Benford on it.
Really?
Yeah, before Nigel turned pro. Yeah.
Jeepers creepers.
Yeah.
There was a guy actually, there's been two fellas actually have passed here, and they've called in, been chatting, actually fought Nigel Ben whenever, obviously before he turned pro, and he was a lot younger.
Yeah.
They had come in, fought him. One of the guys brought in a photograph of...
He's a good kickboxer too, wasn't he? I think
he was,
most of his thing before he turned professional was kickboxing. Yeah.
That's it, I think he'd done the kickboxing, and I think he went into the army and boxed in the army. And then came out and did you ever bump into Ben or any of them lot?
Connor, I bumped into Connor at the Circus Tavern, which is the home of unlicensed boxing.
Yeah.
He was down watching somebody he knew, and I bumped into them. It was just a brief chat, like.
Yeah. There were... Nigel was a different breed, like, wasn't he? He was...
Animal.
That, even there, like, when you look at it, like, technical boxing, they kind of had some sort of they had a little bit of fundamental work, but it was just, the rest of it was just sheer. Just he was turning up for the aggression and the violence, like, wasn't
he? He was just there for the violence, right? That's a perfect way to put it, yeah.
I remember watching him fighting Gerald McClellan.
Oh, yeah.
And he got knocked out of the ring and all in the first round.
I think he knocked out of the ring twice, didn't he?
Yeah.
And
he was gone.
He was gone, but he came back.
And he came back. It just shows you. And
that's what you call having dog in you. Like, you had dog in him. Like.
Even, like, for all the criticism Chris Eubank Sr. got, like, if you watch some of his fights, they all had the dog in them, man. Just different times.
Do you know which is sad too? Chris Eubank Sr., the credit he took for gutting it out against Carl Thompson twice, when he was giving away a lot of weight and there were hard fights he was up against it, he got more credit for that than he did for anything else. And that's sad because he had that in him the whole time. It's just nobody seen it because he was so good.
Yeah. I think he lost his killer instinct after he fought Michael Watson. Like, he never really... Because any fights you kind of see after that, if he had the guy hit or hurt and they wobbled, he kind of like just...
He did stand back.
He did stand back like and just got through the rounds, didn't he?
Yeah.
Sadly, but then there you go. That's flipping... That was happening. Do you know what I mean? Quite a bit then. Bad injuries and whatever else. Did you ever meet the likes of Roy Shaw or anything when you were over at the unlicensed gigs, or?
No. I met... trying to think of his name. Mr. Knuckles, the guy that had I was boxing in the pros on a Joe Pyle show, and was it Matt Frankie Fraser?
Oh, Matt Frankie Fraser.
And
Yeah.
what do you call the guy? I've blanked here.
Was he like the deck collector?
Yeah,
Always wore the knuckle dusters.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
blank.
His name's left me too.
many-
He died recently, not that long ago there.
Too many body shots to the head.
Too many body shots to the head is the one. Do you know what, too? I was actually watching a flipping thing of him the other day because it had something about, he was talking about like the knuckle duster
Yeah.
and the time you'll get for getting caught with that.
He
and the time
shot.
you'll
He did himself in a shotgun.
Yeah,
it
he
was only
did.
3 years ago. Yeah.
Dave Courtney.
Dave Courtney. That's
Dave
the one.
Courtney.
I met Dave Courtney. Dave Courtney. I was boxing in one of Joe Pyle's shows, and Dave Courtney came in and gave me a knuckle duster. It was like on a wee plaque.
Class.
It's a paperweight, right?
Yeah.
Thing because he enjoyed my fight. Like I was fighting this London-based Nigerian.
Right, okay.
Sankanabe on Ogunbi. He was quite good, so he was. He went home then and won the Nigerian national title and also he did. But I
Right.
was boxing him and he enjoyed the fight so much he came in and gave me one of his knuckle dusters.
That's class. And did he keep in touch with you after that?
No,
or
that was just a
that
one-off
was just a
thing,
one-off?
Yeah, just a one-off thing.
Mad.
I had him on Facebook right enough, but I didn't really chat to him. Like,
Yeah, I know. He, yeah, mad. Done some funky stuff, Hal Dave, so he did.
did
But
alright.
I think he ended up sort of losing everybody and everything really
That's it.
around him, didn't he?
Once
So
it's the same as everyone, once the money runs out, isn't it? And the fame and fortune runs out.
that's it. You realise who
Yeah.
was there. But so Nobby Nobbs, you done your unlicensed thing, and Nobby picked you up. Nobby was well known for.
Nobby's iconic for the Journeyman. He was the original manager of Journeyman. He had 30 men out every weekend. And I went to him. I turned professional with the Northern Ireland Board. I got in front of the Northern Ireland Board with a letter from Nobby saying, and Harry Enright gave me a letter as well. I don't know if you remember Harry Enright. He was big in the amateur
not sure.
boxing. He was
Maybe not.
he was one of the officials in the Commonwealth team when they won all the medals and stuff years ago.
Yeah.
So with them two, I went up in front of the board, and it was hard to get in then. There's a lot of boys turned pro over the last 10 years, but 25 years ago, I'm boxed as 24th years of pro. It's a lot hard. It was a lot harder back then to turn pro. You couldn't just turn up. So them boys gave me the letters and all. I could through it okay, like.
Yeah.
And the funny story from turn pro, right? I went from boxing in Longstone Hall in front of about 60 people. That's up in Long, up in the mountains. Boxing like a Gaelic hall and social club in front of about 60 people. And 6 weeks later, I was fighting in the Ricky Hand undercard.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was Hatton fighting then?
Jason Rowland.
Right,
for the
okay.
WBU world title.
He stopped him, didn't he? In the
Stopped him,
I think it was the 8th round. Might have been earlier. Yeah, I remember that.
I was actually the fight right before Ricky Hatton, so it was.
Flip me.
The crew, the hall was buzzing all over me. From 60 people to, I don't know what, it's 16,000 or something. The velodrome holes, it was a cycling track. And I was walking down and Nobby knew everybody, obviously my manager, and Ricky goes, how did you do? And Nobby goes, came second. I goes, well done. I walked on, so...
So, I'll just want to touch on something because there is loads we could get into here. But for the uninitiated and those that don't know, probably looking when he came second, well done. What does Journeyman really mean from the inside?
The up and coming boys with a future ahead of them, if they're put into 50-50 fights from the start, half of them are going to lose. 50% of them are going to lose.
Yeah.
If they're all fighting each other. So they need to learn the game. And boys with experience like myself, that's when learn it. Take them in, make them do the rounds. You do get these Eastern European journeymen. They don't use them as much now, but they used to just fall over after 2 or 3 punches. Well, like myself and Nobby's camp had Peter Buckley in it. Peter Buckley's the GOAT of journeymen. Carl Taylor, Paul Denton, boys like that, all in the camp. They all took the boys the distance, and the boys learnt off them then. So when they did come to fight for titles, they got the rounds over them. They learnt all the tricks, and that's what you're there for. And with the journeyman as well, it sounds harshest, but winning isn't good for the bank balance. Because if you're winning too many, they'll not want you.
Yeah.
Now I've won 3 out of my last 5.
And that's why we're doing the podcast, to get a pledge to get this man a fight.
I've won three out of my last 5. So I personally I couldn't see me winning for another 3 or 4 fights. Anyway, 5, 6 fights maybe.
But you said, and I know this from your past couple of fights. You said you've won the last few, but it's not for the want of trying not to win. There was just, you couldn't not kind of.
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you go in and, don't get me wrong, sometimes you go in and you have to look after yourself.
Yeah.
Like I went to Madrid last year before last I was in Madrid, and I was told I was fighting a middleweight, so I was light for middleweight, so I was okay. And the guy was a debutant, hadn't done much in the amateurs, but he was a debutant. I turned up and he was a light heavyweight on the we were in this bar outside on the beachfront, and he was fucking huge. And I was like, nah, fucking, get on with it. I turned up at the venue the next night, and it was all full size cardboard cutouts of him with 7 medals around his neck. He's 7-time Spanish champion. He was number 4 in the world. And I was turning up well underweight to fight him, like. But that's just, and boys, I had to look after myself, and
Yeah.
I'm not lying, I had to look after myself. It was fucking, sometimes it sounds cliche, but it's life or death in there sometimes.
Yeah.
So
It is. Well,
I had to look after myself, like. But there is other times you turn up and you get fucking bored sometimes because
nothing's happening. They're just
guys. I'll be honest, the guys maybe. I'm going to say this is bad for business saying this, but I'm coming to the end of my career now, so I don't care. But sometimes you get bored just because this guy sold 150, 200 tickets. That's why he's there, and he's being used for his ticket sales. So that's why he has to win, and you're sort of, it's never said, but it's also, well, it's be good if this guy gets a win.
Yeah.
So that's just
the
unspoken rules. So
I remember seeing you at a show. I was commentating on a show, and you dandered up, well, how are you getting on? Won the other week. Phone hasn't rang since.
That's it.
And then the phone did ring, and I seen a Facebook post. I was like a wee picture. He was like, looks like I got to win again. But what is that saying? Like, we're all in the fight game, so it's no disrespect to anybody, but what is that saying for these guys that are letting these prospects turn over?
It's a business. Now, I know good promoters, and I also know bad promoters. Well, I'm not saying bad promoters, or maybe bad promoters, but they're good businessmen because they're turning boys over. They'd rather have somebody who has had 10 white collar fights and they've scraped them in with a pro license. They'd rather have him on the show because he's selling 200 tickets than an Olympian who sold 50 tickets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It is. It's mad when you think about it like that, like, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like,
but that's what it's business.
Yeah.
People have to realise professional boxing is business first, sport second.
That's what I would always say to all the kids. Anyone ever asked me about turning professional, it's like, well, when you turn over, you're a product. So have you invested in yourself up till now?
Yeah.
What's your backing? What's your following? What's your wee support network?
And
like?
it's all these days. Not back when I first turned pro, but these days it's all about social network.
Yeah.
If you're on social media, that's where you're going to.
It's one thing I've always tried to do, like right from the off when I opened the club. Always kind of profile some of the boxers and kind of get ones would come in the gym. When's wee Marty fighting again? Where's he fighting? Can we go? And then they all start. So I had a conversation with one of my young boxers, only 13, but up and down, been away with him loads this year, and he has all the tools now. I can see it, and I'm like, and I don't say it lightly, but he has all the tools to do it and to make it. If he just sticks with it as he gets older, and if he ever decides to turn over, he would be probably one of the ones I would say, do it. You have it.
Yeah.
You know, but it's nurturing that in him and making him understand it, and it's just developing him. But he's starting to everybody knows who he is. You're starting to take him to the boxing shows now. Everyone's coming up to talk to him,
and that's important because it is, and that's built. That's forward thinking. That's building a business as well. You know what I mean? Because you need to do it because you can have all the talent in the world, and if you haven't got a fan base, to sell tickets, you're not.
That's it. It's them you're relying on, isn't it? And that's it. And a lot of boys as well too for turning over as well. It's the sponsorships. They pay you a wage to train.
That's it too.
As well, like, isn't it? What are the unwritten rules as a journeyman? It's like knowing when to push and when to ease off, or when to survive. Really, it's like
that's what I was going to say. There's times you go in to survive, and sometimes I haven't survived, you know what I mean? Like, I've been in with world champions, Lee Hassens, Derry Matthews. About 5 years ago, boxed on a GBA show, a German boxing association show against Ian Weaver. Ian won everything in the amateurs except for the Olympics. Luke Campbell took his place in the Olympics.
Really? There you go.
And I was boxing on a GBA pro show, and I got a phone call, I think it was 4 days before it, and I had a lot of weight to lose to make the fight. And I came in on weight, but I think I'd lost something stupid close to a stone in 4 days, and I was weak as anything. But I knew myself. Ian Weaver, class act. With social media now, you just know everyone.
Yeah.
But when I was fighting Derry Matthews, I'll tell you a funny story about Derry Matthews. But when I was fighting them boys, I didn't know anything about them, so it didn't really. You never get nervous. You never get that worried. See with Lee Hassens and all, but because social media was about 4 or 5 years ago in the box, I knew who Ian Weaver was.
Yeah.
So I went out with a survival mode, and he caught me. I think it was second round. He caught me with a body shot, and see if I watching video now, I'm still out of breath. I thought I was never going to breathe again. I was in the ground, and
Where did he get you, around the side or up the middle?
just round the side, middle of the side, and the referees count me, and I looked up at him. And
Stop counting.
You mean, fucking, you're wasting your breath there.
Give me the breath you're breathing for Frank's sake.
Fuck, I think there was people falling down ringside and all. I was trying to inhale that much air. There was an oxygen deficiency at ringside. I was trying to get that much into me, like.
Jeepers, there's nothing worse too than the body shots. I love them.
Hit me in the chin, hit me in the face all day, hit me in the head. People have stopped hitting me in the head now because they keep breaking their hands.
Keep hurting their hands,
But I'm actually good with my body. If you hurt me in the body, it's somebody like Ian Weaver's going to catch me in the body.
Yeah.
But anybody else, they're hitting my elbows. I'm quite good defensively.
Yeah.
And that all came from working with Nobby Knobs.
So working with Nobby, did you pack up and go over there? Because unlike kind of the pros now when they go into camps, how did that work for you on your role?
The idea was I was going to move over.
Okay.
And then, what was the disease that came out? You're talking 24 years ago now I'm a pro.
Like foot and mouth or something?
It was foot and mouth or something, where the whole country was closed down and there was nothing happening, and I was like, flights and all were cancelled, and Nobby got me a fight, and I was like, I'll take it. And then because I hadn't been over there, he trusted me enough to say, you sure you're okay? And I went over and fought, and then he goes, this isn't the bad relationship, as long as you keep yourself half fit. And back in the day I did train. I haven't trained in 10 years, but back in the day I did train. So I always kept myself ready to go, on the weight, ready to go, and that's just the way we did it then.
What kind of stuff? Because we all have an idea of a prospect and a title challenger going in, and what stuff they're doing and tacticalising and stuff. What are you guys doing as journeymen in a gym full of them? Survival tactics?
It's just an open spar, more or less. A lot of body sparring, because you can't risk cuts and stuff, because the boys are fighting week in, week out, so you don't want to risk cuts and stuff. But it's just a lot of body sparring. Nobby's was I remember my first day sparring and Nobby's was Carl Taylor. Carl boxed Eamon McGee and boys that got over here in those hall shows. And I remember watching him before I was even before I even boxed amateur. I remember watching Carl. And then I was in the ring sparring with him, and it was just all body sparring.
Wee surreal moment, was it?
It was, and it's just it just woke me up to how good the boys are at avoiding shots. You know what I mean? People think, he's a punch bag, but they're not really.
Yeah, so that's what I've said that loads too. It's like, your man's getting hammered or whatever. And there's times I'm sitting and it's like, you really don't know what you're looking at. Like, he is not. He isn't.
Go back to just before we move on, go back to the story when I was fighting Derry Matthews. This is what we're talking about before social media, right? Derry was told I was 6-0, right? And he was shaking himself. He said to his boss, I think it was Stephen Vaughan, whoever it was, from him, he goes, you're setting me up. And this is too, I think he was 4-0. You're setting me up as too early in my career, 6-0. But I was actually 0-6. But that's with just social media.
Yeah.
You would have known that on the internet, but there was no box record on him back then. So he told me afterwards, I was talking to him, we hooked up on Facebook after it, and I actually boxed a boy he was training on a BIBA license about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were talking at it, and he goes, when I boxed you, he says, I thought I was being set up. He says, because I heard you were 6-0.
This boy 6-0 is coming to get me. Oh, it's madness. So the jump, well, not even that. It's like whenever you kind of got the opportunity, this is a nice wee way to go about things. Did you just be like, sure? Or did you have that wee bit of competitive drive still in you to go, what if I could win this and upset the apple cart
No,
in the early days?
I never did, to be honest. I never did.
Always.
What I always enjoyed was turning it on for 30-second bursts and letting the opponent know, letting the crowd know I could turn this on if I want, and having a fucking tear up with them. Like, I boxed Darren Taylor. He went on to win the British Masters title, I think. Boxed him, and I think it was his fourth pro fight. He had three knockouts, 3 fights, 3 knockouts, and I boxed him and took him down. I lost in points, but took him distance. But I had a toe to toe with him, like, and I knew I was losing the fight, but because it was a fucking scrap.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I'm not a born journeyman. No disrespect to a lot of journeymen, but a lot of them do just go in their shells. Where I'll let them have it for 30-second bursts just to do enough to keep it competitive and put them in their place. If you know what I mean.
I remember a time whenever I was talking about maybe going down another route, and I remember seeing you. Where was it? Young Jack was fighting. He broke his hand that day in the Ulster finals, and you and me had a wee conversation up the stairs. I remember
that was
saying,
up a White Rock. What do you
down round there. Yeah,
aye.
I
was up with kids.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Jack had won the Ulsters, broke his hand. I think he had says, "What are you doing here with yourself? What are you going to do or something?" I was like, at this point, mate, I might just go on the road.
That's it.
Genuinely.
But that's it. But I know boys have won British titles and European titles, and they haven't got as much out of boxing as I have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is the other thing as well, because if you look at the kind of the win and the loss column, it doesn't really say. Everyone look at it, go 90 odd losses or whatever, but it doesn't really say anything in terms of like class, ability, or like achievement. Like, you've been in there with world champions, you've been in, and knowing yourself, I could turn this on at any point.
As I said, dropping names again, Lee Haskins the box.
Yeah.
I think I was the first to take him the distance.
Yeah.
And that was over 6 rounds. And it was his first step up to 6 rounds.
Yeah.
And people don't realise, you come back and say, I lost, right, okay. But they don't realise you've just boxed who was a future world champion at the time.
No, 100%. I remember Lee came out, so whenever I was living in Spain, it might have just been after you fought him, maybe, because I think it was 8 or 10 rounds he boxed out in Torrevieja. And Lee had came out, and we were in around it all through with the boxing club and stuff, and I got to meet him, and James DeGale came out as well.
Yeah. Chunky, yeah.
I forget who else came out. That was the first time I seen Lee, and then I kind of tracked him after that. Again, social media wasn't about, so it was in the boxing news.
Boxing news, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Boxing news is a thing. I used to subscribe to it all the time. Now I'll bet in the airport if I'm going for a fight. If it's in the airport, I'll bet, but it's not one of the things you sort of drift away from stuff like that because social media.
No, you do. It's social media and the phones. It's too easy. It's killed everything.
Yeah.
It's too easy just to look and go, that's it. Or audio book it and whatever.
Yeah.
The audio books are good for someone like me who's crap at reading.
I need them, to be honest.
So do I, mate. So do I. I have all the makings of a journeyman here for the sounds of it.
My wife's got felt reading me in bed, so I had to get the audio books.
I know. Well, that was like me too. Flip sake, the missus was sick of reading about the big wolves blowing down the house and all. Read it again. Learn to read, will you? Flip sake. But the jumping weight classes. Naturally, would you have your flyweight?
I turned professional flyweight, yeah. Now,
and then
in the amateurs, I box at featherweight and bantamweight, and Nobby says to me, he says, you could do flyweight, couldn't you? I said, yeah, I probably could. I never tried to make weight, so I tried to lose a bit of weight. I was training as well. And when I boxed with the All Blacks, we were up running in the mountains and all those. So I just carried on training the All Blacks as normal.
Yeah.
And just upped my thing and started watching Dad and a wee bit and stuff, which I quit after a few years. Like, but I was good in my dads and stuff. You know what I mean? And that's, I got down to flyweight for my professional debut. And
who did you fight in your debut?
I boxed a fella, Darren Cleary. I boxed him in my first and second fight. Darren is now in jail doing life for bringing a yacht back over the fucking channel with so many £1 million worth of heroin on it.
Flat,
So it
mate.
just shows you, and he was actually a prospect, you know what I mean?
And were you fighting him then on the road, or were you fighting him for...
For my first professional fight, I was on the road. I was with Nobby, and
Yeah.
I knew what the score was.
There's bound to be a time, like, in between it all, where you're in with a prospect, you know, get him through this, and then he's on the big fights, where you have to be thinking, I'm going to upset everything and take his opportunities.
Yeah.
2 Saturdays ago. 2 Saturdays ago. I'm not going to mention who he was signed with, but
No.
he was signed with a manager in England who was an ex-Olympian, and I think this guy had put a lot of money into this fight. He was from Kazakhstan.
Okay.
And he had put a lot of money into him, and he brought him over, and his visa was for the fight, but then it was a sporting visa, a working visa that he was going to stay. And I met him at the start, and the thing at the medical, and all, he just bumped into some medical. He shook my hand. He was respectful and all, and he looked like a Chinese guy on fucking roids. He was, but he was respectful enough, and I shook his hand. And all I can always tell actually when you shake someone's hand if they're going to be a puncher or not. It's just something in my head. I might be totally wrong, but it's always worked for me. But I thought to myself, oh, he's not a puncher, and I went out, and he was respectful to me. We chatted, broken English, we chatted a bit. Went down the ring, and the referee called us in for the rules as such. So, and he was growling at me and pushing the head into me and stuff. And I'm like, oh, what's that? But he did it too much. He got just a bit too cheeky with it. So I went back to the corner. My mate Sam Stokes. Sam is a well-known manager in England.
Yeah.
And he takes lads all over Europe and stuff as well. Sam tells everybody, he was over here a while ago with he has a lot of Nicaraguans. He was over here on a Conlon show, and he has boys and marked on lap shows as well.
Yeah.
And he was over here, and people come up to me and going, even McGill, the referees come over and go, I met your son the other night. He tells everybody I'm his dad. And I'm not his dad.
So just for the record, we'll put that out there.
I've seen pictures of his mum, and I'm definitely not his dad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have went there. And I know he's going to see this. But I went back to the corner, and Sam was in the corner, and Sam goes, what the fuck's the crack there? And I says, he's getting done. I said, I'm going to give him a hard first round here. I said, I don't care if he knocks me out. I said, but I'm going to give him the best first round of his life. And in the first round, he hit me, and I was like, whoa, I don't like that. So I didn't let him hit me the rest of the fight. I just boxed, and I beat him in points.
Yeah.
You could say accidentally, but I knew I was winning the fight, but I didn't respect him enough to give him the win.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Like, sometimes there could be that amount of disrespect. I'm just kind of trying to think about it from my perspective. It's like, I'm here to do you a favour.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get up in my face and do all that. It's like
a lot of boxers, 99% of the boxers know what your opponents know what you're there for. You'll get the odd deluded one who doesn't.
Yeah.
Who
thinks he's made it before he's even...
But 99% know you're there. And know what you're there for, and that's okay. You've always got that respect there. They're still trying to take your head off because it looks good for them if they take you out, but you do get the old one like that guy 2 weeks ago who's way back to Kazakhstan, and I think he got his visa wiped.
Oh no. I remember I had one of my prospect pro lads was in the gym when I was training the pros. The guy he was fighting, I arrived at the venue and stuff early, and your man was hanging about. Oh, did you fight? I says, no, I have a guy boxing. Who is it? I says, the guy you're fighting. And he said to me, he was like, tell him if he doesn't take the piss, it'll be a nice night.
Yeah.
If he takes a piss, I'm going to make it a hard night.
Yeah.
So I kind of sized him up anyway. And the guy I had with me, my second in the corner, was like, are you going to tell him? I was like, no, don't say nothing. I'm just going to let him go.
Yeah.
You know, and he did. He was all right. And the guy came over, he was like, I told you, you know, I'd be in for a hard night. I sort of going, mate, I respect the journeyman and stuff too, but it was a good wee scrap for him, good wee test, but your man was durable. He took some smashers, and I was looking going, just at any point now he's just going to maybe unload, but my guy just had the range and just was cute enough.
That's it, yeah.
Just to keep it there, but obviously his opposition knew the game too, and
my rangefinder's my face. If they're hitting me in the face, I know they're close enough to hit back.
That's it. There we go. How does the mindset and tactics change for you moving up to like heavyweight? Because I mean, like you're not the tallest, Marty.
I'm actually, I haven't looked into this, right? I know I'm the first person in the last 100 years, and I'll never be repeated, to box from flyweight to heavyweight as a professional. I know that, and it's some box rec. I've got a box rec plaque about it and stuff, right? But I know I'll never be repeated. But the way that came around is, I boxed in Malta a while back at light heavy, and this guy was looking at fighting. He was, where was the fight? It was in Germany, in Baden-Baden in Germany, and they were looking at opponent cruiserweight, but they were looking for a win. Obviously, that's why they picked me out. Obviously, you know.
Yeah.
This is, we know you pick box at light heavyweight. Would you do cruiserweight?
Yeah.
Yeah, no bother. I'll be all right. A big heavy punch isn't as bad as some your own weight who's sharp and can throw a punch. You know what I mean? So a big heavy punches, you can keep it away and all right. But the week before, this is, mate, he's not doing cruiserweight. This fight's going to be heavyweight. He's nowhere near it. Can you do heavyweight? He's me, you're all right. This is a funny way of putting it, and it sounds like I'm being a wanker saying this. But if somebody breaks into your house tonight and attacks your family, are you going to stick them on the scales, or are you going to get in and start smashing them? Do you know what I mean?
Punch is a punch.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, actually, no bother. And don't get me wrong, I was marked up in that fight, but there were big, heavy punches. But I was boxing a German-based Englishman, Meg Hadley, and I think he's 6-2 now. And all his 6 wins have come by knockout, except for me. So he's 5 wins by knockout at heavyweight, and I'm the only one who took him distance, and I'm 5'5" and a half.
5'5" and a half.
Which is probably a record in its own. I don't think there's been a shorter heavyweight in the history of the world. Like, there couldn't have been. Like.
How tall was Mike Tyson?
He's fucking 5'10", 5'11" or something. No?
There you go. You're a record breaker too.
But I wouldn't have took a heavyweight fight against Mike Tyson, to be honest.
No matter. I know.
They've offered enough, like.
Yeah, that's it. What's your kind of, how did you make weight then for that? Were you just filling up, or did you just turn up, get on the scales?
Well, it's well documented this, and it was wrong.
Yeah.
But I went on Amazon when I found out it was heavyweight. I went on Amazon and bought a 20 kg weight vest. And you want to see me getting that through the airport, because it looks like a suicide vest. You know,
yeah.
You want to see. So I had to fly from Belfast to Heathrow, and then from Heathrow to Baden-Baden. And both airports had to go through. You see, when I got to Germany, I just left it, or didn't bring it back with me.
Not worth it.
Because it wasn't worth the fucking hassle. So I had a 20 kg weight vest on. I came in fully clothed onto the scales, which you can as a heavyweight anyway. A coat on, bottles of water, and
everything
in my pockets. And I just made heavyweight.
This boy's struggling at the weight. He can barely get up the stairs to the scales.
I made the heavyweight, and I run out to the car. We had a hired car, and I run out to the hired car, and took all the stuff off, went back in, and the doctor was in a separate part of the building.
Yeah.
So then did my medical and stuff. It was day before, did my medical and stuff, and then turned up on the night, and I was getting in the ring, and I'd stay away from everybody, but I was getting in the ring, and you could see the officials ringside going, what the? Because I was way in middle. I was a middleweight, to be honest. I was probably just over middleweight, and you could see the officials all looking at me. But I tell you what, especially the last round, I took it to him.
Yeah.
If it had been a 6-rounder, I'd say he would admit himself he would have struggled over a 6-rounder, because I was giving it to him like he wasn't used to the pressure.
Yeah.
So
what was your kind of thinking going into it? Is, okay, I'm going to have to kind of get myself around here, but was your tactics more in terms of survival, kind of, okay, I'll use the fact I'm lighter and I'll try and box with him, or are you going to try and break distance and get close to him? Then you're running the risk of him lying and sitting on you. And
the game plan was to box and move, right? And to be fair, years ago I could box and move, but now I'm old as fuck, like. So my plan was, I'm just going to box and move a wee bit. I know I'm not what I used to be. I haven't got the legs I used to be. But I got in there and I was like, I was roasting, and I was like, fuck, I just walk forward at him, because that's my style's adapted. I just walk forward and wear people down. Like. I'm always there at the final bell with them,
Yeah.
making them struggle. They're
Do you
glad
ever
the
have
final
wee
bell.
words with them when you're in there?
Oh, all the
Oh,
time.
yeah, boy, yeah.
All the time. All the time. I fought a fella, Nathan Beatty. I fought Nathan 4 times, and me and him just chat the whole time through the fights. So after the first couple of fights, the next 2 fights we just chatted the whole way through. So because I knew him that well.
Yeah.
Nathan beat me 3 times. Good prospect, Nathan. He went off for a wee bit, and then I boxed him in Aberdeen over lockdown on a behind closed door show and beat him. Mm-hmm. And I put it down because there wasn't a crowd there fucking slagging me off.
Yeah.
So I was able to concentrate. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that as far as that's the heavyweight. I just said that, as you say, as I said there, doesn't matter. Somebody breaks in your house, you're not going to put it in the scales. You're just going to fight who's in front of you.
You're going to just fight. I know, that's it. And that's the gritty warrior flipping spirit in you, like, isn't it? It's like, oh, fight's a fight.
Yep.
I remember a clip. Well, I must actually try and find it, and we can maybe clip it into one of the reels. But you were away boxing, and the ring card girl to get in between the rounds.
Do you know what? That's happened to me twice.
Yeah.
Twice that's happened to me.
It's funny on, right?
It happened in Liverpool, and then it happened about a year later in Barwon Furnace.
Wasn't the same girl, was it?
No, definitely not. So Michael Kelly was doing my corner.
Yeah.
Do you remember Michael from Dundalk?
Yeah.
Michael won the World Military Championships and all that, so he turned pro, and he was doing okay as a pro, and then he went down the journeyman route, so he did. So Michael was doing my corner, and I said, I'm going to turn up this round, there's only 2 rounds left. And Michael goes, no, he looked over at the card girl, and it's me, man, she's wrong. He goes, no, she's not. Michael didn't even know, he's too many body shots they had too. And I went over to her, I got the card off her, she me, that's the wrong card, love, it's round 3, and she had round 2 up. And she goes, no, it's not. And the commentators were laughing their heads off. The commentary for that fight was brilliant because it was just taking piss out of her for the rest of the fights. So and then it happened again in Barwon Furnace, but it was about a year and a half later. I was like, Ryan Kilpatrick. Ryan's one of my best mates. I think you know Ryan.
Yeah, there you go.
Ryan's one of my best friends. Ryan's a journeyman as well. He doesn't get a lot of work. He's big heavyweight. If he got himself in the shape, he would get more work, I think.
Okay.
Because he's tough and durable, and he can fight a wee bit like.
Mm-hmm.
But Ryan said to me, what round's this? I can tell you more or less what 10 seconds went in a round. I measured the round as I'm going along. So I knew what round it was in, never mind what part of the round it was in. He goes, mate, what round's this? We're coming in the second round here now. He goes, or we're coming in the third round here. He goes, that car girl's got the second round up. So I had to go on.
But you had it upside down or something, didn't you?
I shot it upside down too. But listen, you don't. I know genius, but you don't need GCSEs to be a car girl. Like.
I remember seeing it. They just down there, yo, turn that round.
She was but you know what I mean? They don't vet these car girls the way they do the boxers.
I know. You're bound to have other. I recall another story. I remember. I actually think you put it out in an article as well. I remember reading it and having a giggle. But also remember I think you told me about it one time, where you had went out and you were on your own.
Oh, with
the shoes,
the boots.
Yeah.
So I was boxing in Malta. That was the fight I was talking about earlier with boxing light heavy. So I was boxing in Malta, and it was Lee McAllister got me the fight. Lee McAllister, Aberdeen assassin. Lee's actually one of my best friends now. So he's multiple world titles, WBU level. He's won a WBO, Intercontinental, International and stuff. He's won everything there is to win now. And Lee promotes now in Aberdeen. So he's actually, I'm boxing on the same show as him tomorrow night in Basel, just outside London. Lee's fighting on the thing. He's like myself, he just doesn't want to give up. But he's enjoying it, he's still winning. So, but I didn't know Lee at the time, although he's one of my best friends now, so I didn't really know anybody. But Lee was actually in the other guy's corner because he was helping out because it was his friend's promotion. So I had these boots that I had from an amateur, and there was a hole in them. They were that war away, there was a hole in them. And everybody used to take a piss out of me all the time. I'm like, mate, what have you got all them sponsors for? Your names, all the sponsors in your t-shirt, a different pair of shorts for every fight. I know guys that spend £100 a pair of shorts for every fight. I've been a professional 24 years, and I've had 3 pairs of shorts in 24 years, and that's because I grew them. And my boots were wore away. There was a big hole in them. So I was halfway through the second round in Malta. I was boxing. It was a weird show. So it was like Millionaires Row show. There was 3-seater suites with coffee tables in front of them. All about this big lounge place. And I'd say there was maybe 60 people there, but the tickets were a fortune to get there. So next thing I felt something on my foot, and I looked down, there was €20 there. What I had done was, in the change room, because I didn't know anybody, I didn't know the corner man.
Yeah.
So what I done was I put my purse, because I demanded the purse first, people going, you're not going to pay them Malta, and Malta people don't pay you.
Yeah.
So I demanded my purse first, and Lee McAllister, who's one of my best friends now, he went and made sure I got paid. But then I was going, shit, I can't leave this in the changing room. So I put it in my boot. So halfway through the second round, I get the feels on my shoe and I looked down and there was €20 there. I'm going,
they're loving the fight that much. They're throwing €20.
What do you call it? Nobbins used to call it, didn't they, when they used to throw money everyone was in the fight? And then I realised, so I'm there doing like an alley shuffle, trying to get the money back in my boot, right? And my opponent's looking at me going, cheeky bastard. That was the shittest alley shuffle ever, because I was just trying to shove the money in and I got it shoved back in. So actually, the referee bent down, picked the €20 and put it in. You know, the referee bends down, if someone comes loose, he bent down, pick it up and throw it in the ring. Yeah. He bent down, picked it up and put it in his pocket, the bastard, right? So that's the €20 I lost. And that was one of the stories. It was, but another wee story on that, right? Me and a guy who I'll not name, right, was with me on the same show. And in Malta, there was these cafes where you just smoke all day, smoke the wacky backy all day. And he'd been in there for 2 days before the fight, just smoking wacky backy.
It's calming his nerves.
And that's another thing, there was only 2 fights on the show.
Yeah, okay.
There was 2 fights in the show. It was weird. It was like they paid a lot of money for tickets for it, but it was a weird show. So they came into I'd been finished up and all fucking ready to go. And the drug ones came in and they were going to test this guy who was from Liverpool, he's from Manchester, I'll not name him. And he'd been on the wacky backy for 2 days. And they came in to drug test him. And I know that's not performance enhancing, but you'll still get a ban.
Yeah.
So I walked up to the medics and I says, all nervous and all, does everybody get drug tested? And the medic just turned around and go, no, just you. He obviously thought I was nervous and left him alone.
Yeah. Class.
So I get drug tested, test positive for crack.
And the good crack as well.
Yeah, the good crack. And he get let off. Yeah. But he's retired now, but I'm still not going to name him.
No, don't. We'll not do that. He's probably sitting here, heart racing, watching this. He's going. Marty's going to let it slip here. Going to let us. We might tag him in the clip or something. I don't know. Maybe a giveaway. Who knows? Who knows? Being there's so much. There's so much. You're boxing. How the hell does the K1 come up?
Right. I've been known to be stupid and just take any fight that's offered to me. Like I've boxed world champions, Lee Hassan, Darren Matthews, Ian Weaver, boxed Sean Hughes and boys who box for world titles and beat British champions and stuff. I'd boxed all them, and then a guy phoned me and goes, Marty, you wouldn't fight tomorrow night for me? And this was when I was taking a break from the pros. I was doing a bit unlicensed, and when I say a wee bit, in that wee bit, in the space of whatever time it was, I took 300 fights. Me and guy I mentioned, Ryan Kilpatrick, who's a pro journeyman now. Me and him were fighting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We were flying over and fighting 3 shows and getting well paid for that. You know, the three. It's not the same as the pro money, but you were getting 3 fights a weekend, and they were handy fights. Like, so the guy phoned me, goes, "You fight him?" Yeah. So I turned up, and before the K1 one, this was right. I turned up and I looked in the arena, and it was Brentwood Arena, and I looked and I was like, "Where's the ring?" All I see is this big massive cage. And it was an MMA fight. It was a cage fight. I didn't have a clue. I just turned out. He just asked me to fight. I said, mate, I've never done this before. He goes, no, but I know you like a fight. So that's how I did that.
That's how the MMA one was?
That's how the MMA. Well, I had 7 MMA.
Yeah.
And then the same story was the K1 fight.
But so, before we jump to the K1, we went here with the MMA, right? I've never done this. You're all right. You like a fight. Like, you're going in, I need to try my best to keep this
every promoter for every MMA fight I've had says to me, I tell you why we're picking you as an opponent, because he wants to practice his stand-up, right? And that sort of lulls you in this false sense of security if you're stupid. And that's okay. And as soon as you hit him one punch, he's like, oh, take you to the ground. Or he's safe. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They don't like being punched, so they'll take you to the ground.
Yeah.
So that's...
When you get taken to the ground in the first one, are you lying there like looking up going, what the hell am I doing here?
There's another funny story. It was a big massive show, CFC it was called, in Brentwood Arena. And I was looking up at this big massive screen above the ring.
A poor fella in there's getting
And I'm watching myself getting ground and pounded, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going, that doesn't actually hurt. I thought I would have hurt more with the wee gloves.
Yeah.
But it just the wee gloves didn't. I found out with MMA, the punches aren't as heavy and sharp as they are in boxing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a psychological thing.
That's what I
not
would
letting
think.
people punch as hard.
Yeah.
But I was lying there going, that looks brutal, but it's not actually that bad. But because the same with the bare knuckle, although bone and bone cut you, when I did the bare knuckle, I didn't think the punches were as hard. Mm-hmm. You just felt the claw run down your face, like. But
so you had 7 fights in the MMA. Then you went into the K1. That came after then.
I've had a K1 on a tie.
Do you do any ways of kicking or anything before you go in, or just go, go in here, it'll be all right?
I used to carry kids about the place now. If they weren't behaving, I would be with it. No, get in the kitchen.
Yeah.
No kicking, no whatsoever. You do the worst thing. Like, you can punch me in the face all day, punch me in the head all day, not a problem. See the kicks to the legs. The first
They're not
time.
nice, mate.
I actually, do you know who I fought in one of my... It was my very first MMA cage, fight in the cage. Tom Glover, who's got a win over Jonathan Thaxton.
Yeah.
He was a top pro, so he was. He had switched over to MMA, and I was fighting him in the cage. And I knew I was fighting him, but I thought it was boxing at the time, you know what I mean? So it's going to be a hard night's work, but it turned out it was even harder. But he kicked me, and I was like, I was sitting saying to myself in the middle of the ring, I have wee conversations with myself. You know, when you're fighting, even when I'm fighting now, I'll have wee conversations in my head, and I'm going, why would you do that to somebody? I didn't like.
Why would you want to put yourself through it?
I didn't get kicked. I didn't like getting kicked at all. It was fucking sore, so it was.
Yeah. That's one thing I remember whenever I went in and dabbled in the kickboxing. Like, I remember the first time getting kicked in the legs. I was like, oh.
Yeah, he kicked me in the chest, kicked me in the arms, the head, and there was no ball, but you see him kicks the legs.
Yeah. I remember one time, I was kickboxing at this time, but I was working on the doors. I was up in Belfast, and there was a bit of a kerfuffle started. The guy was mouthing off, and I'll not name him, but he was a known boxer, and I just sort of pushed him back anyway. Don't make a fool of yourself. And he swung a kick at me, and I was kickboxing at the time. I checked it, right, but it went shin to shin. But boom, he hit the dirt. My fucking leg, and I just stood, like nothing, like yeah. And then everyone kind of got in, pulled me away. See, as soon as I get out of everybody's room, there's me. Oh, fuck. We're like, well, but it wasn't, like, I was kind of ready for it in the sense as well, but it was like after it, when I was walking, I was like, shit.
I'll tell you the truth.
That was some kick, like.
Well, that kick I was telling you, but I didn't cry till I get back to the hotel.
Yeah.
I held it in till I get back to the hotel, get in the hotel room, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. I remember I come off a motorbike a couple of times, but I come off one of the other times and actually took a lot of the impact on my shins, and I literally put it down to my years of kickboxing.
Yeah.
Where my bones were kind of, you know what I mean, a bit solid, that nothing shattered or broke.
Evolved into that, yeah.
Yeah. But I remember, it was something, the kicks are brutal. And then seeing the clinches too, the old 2-strike release, when they're driving the knees up in, one of them slip in underneath.
That K1 had that 2-strike release thing, that's brutal. Like, as you see that, you said you checked that kick, I didn't know how to check a kick, like, I was...
It's mad too, like when they're chopping away at your leg, chopping away at your leg, chopping away at your leg, and then you can't even move. It's like, that's where you do go into survival mode, isn't it? And just and draw on your experiences.
Yeah.
It's flipping. It's mad. So short notice. What's the? You kind of don't get the same window
No,
as most pro fights. You could get a call tonight and go tomorrow.
Most pro fights, they get 6 weeks notice, don't they? 6 to 8
Yeah.
weeks notice. Well, they get probably 8 weeks notice, but 6 week camp to do a proper camp. My two shortest ones, my shortest European one, my shortest British one. My shortest British one, Lee McAllister, was promoting a pro show in Aberdeen, and he asked me to go over and wrap hands and stuff on it. And I was on the Sammy Hill, a cracking boxer from down our direction. He was taking me up, he picked me up, I got the boat over and he picked me up at the boat and we were driving up.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of another funny story about him there, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, slide it in.
And we're driving up, we're 2 hours away from the venue.
Yeah.
And Lee rings me, goes, Marty, don't suppose you have any gear with you? But he was just ringing, he was just bringing me over for the crack. I was doing wrap hands and stuff. He was just giving me a job to do, because he put a crack.
Yeah.
I said, nah, man, if not, he goes, right, he goes, I'll send Kenny, who's one of the officials from Biba, I'll send Kenny down to town to get you some gear. Would you fight tonight? He said, I no bar. So 2 hours notice. And maybe
Did you have to weigh in?
Yeah. I was well late anyway. And maybe I'm from a nationalist area, I'm not sectarian in any way. I'm in a mixed marriage with kids and stuff.
Yeah.
But Kenny, we always had a bit of banter with the Celtic Rangers from Kenny.
Yeah.
And Kenny was sent to get me my gear. And he got me a red, white, and blue shorts and red, white, and blue boots. And there's me in Aberdeen, there's a photograph of me on social media looking down at Kenny going, what the fuck? But so 2 hours notice was the shortest I've ever got. I was on the way to a show with no gear with me.
But did your gum shield, because it got you free sandwiches?
I take my gum shield to Asda in case somebody starts something.
Yeah, I know. I've stopped carrying mine now to be fair.
The shortest notice, proper short notice one was 12 hours notice. I was at work and I got in the lorry. I was down and digging a trench, digging shade out of it. I work in sewers and stuff. I was down digging shade out of a trench. Got into the lorry at 10 o'clock, looked at my phone, and there was a message from Sam Stokes and Giles Carter. You don't fancy France tonight, do you? And I was like, man, if you can get me a flight, I'll be there. So I jumped in the lorry, says, we're going home now. I went home and that was 10 o'clock tea when I seen the text message and rung him back. And 10 o'clock at night I was in the ring fighting in Paris.
Whoa.
So 12 hours notice across Europe. So
Flat me.
I was probably the shortest one, taking away the Aberdeen one, which I was going to the show anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, 12 hours notice in Paris, yeah.
How do you balance, I suppose, as like on the road as a journeyman, it's a bit different, but like how do you balance work life and kind of the boxing life? How do you balance that up? Because, well, you've said you haven't been training.
I don't train. I'll tell you the truth. When I say I haven't trained 10 years, I've trained for 2 fights. 3 fights maybe. I always say when I go, I've only had, in the last 20 years, this is my 3rd job in 20 years, doing the same thing, but different things. So I've always said to them, listen, I might need weekends off here and stuff, or the odd Friday and stuff. And usually don't even need a Friday. I need a Friday off because I fight tomorrow, right? But usually I just fly out on the Friday night, weigh in, fight on the Saturday. But I've always been dead on the work that way, like, and because I don't train, I'm never tired as such, from that. So as I say about the fights I have trained for, I'll tell you a funny story here, and I'm going to name him anyway. I shouldn't, but I was standing on the door, and I just came back boxing on the Malta license, and there was a few Malta license shows in Belfast happening. So were Chuck Tolan, who's dead now, he was promoting shows, and Tommy Tolan was his brother. He was a decent pro, and he was fighting on them and stuff. And Chuck phoned me and goes, Marty, do you fancy fighting Phil Townley? I was standing in the door down Boucher Road on, remember Brown's Bar?
Yeah.
I was standing there. I run the door there for a wee while. And I was standing at the door and got a phone call. Marty, do you fancy fighting Phil Townley for a title over 8 rounds? There's me, what's that on? The pro thing with Malta. There's me, yeah, no bar. I'd had my Malta license for about a year then. There's me, yeah, no bar, mate, no bar. And I went over to the guy who was working with me in the door, who was Phil Townley. And I says, Phil, we're fighting here in 2 months. I just hope things aren't gonna be awkward, like. And Phil
After
goes,
I batter you.
Phil goes, everybody thought I was 10 stone at the time. I was fighting light welter, and
Yeah.
everybody thought Phil was middleweight, super middleweight, and he was going to batter me. Everybody thought Phil wasn't great by any means, but he was big compared to me. I was fucking 10 stone soaking wet at the time, and Phil goes, well, I'm going to have to go then. I mean, what do you mean, man? He was working for me in the door. What do you mean? He goes, well, I'm going to have to go. I mean, well, sure, just if you don't want to come back and work, that's okay, but sure, finish your shift. No, I have to go. And he left. That's how bad he took it. Got a text message from a Facebook message from the next day. Marty, I have to sell tickets for this fight. Can we have a better banter on Facebook? So that's the worst thing to say to me, like. So I started the banter on Facebook, and
You have been known for that, Marty, now, to be fair.
now and again. 2 hours later, he blocked me.
Yeah.
He couldn't take it anymore.
Couldn't take no more of it.
It took 2 hours of banter, and he couldn't take it anymore.
Flip me.
And he blocked me. So
Did he get his ticket sales out of it?
I think he sold enough tickets, like, and we went out and fought, but I put in a wee bit of training for that, so that, I mean, you know what thing, this is a good wee thing, there's a title on the line and all. It was the Malta version of the Irish International title, whatever. So I put a bit of training, so I went, and to be fair, I was only sparring my son, who doesn't box anymore, but he was around the same weight as me, and I was maybe a wee bit heavier, and I was just sparring him, going to the gym and sparring him and stuff, so I put a wee bit into a few runs and stuff, which I can't do now.
Yeah.
I'll get sciatica, you see, so I can't run. So then put a bit of training for Phil, and that was one of the nights where I boxed and moved, and he couldn't get near me.
Yeah.
And on one of the scorecards, I won every round.
Yeah.
The others maybe give him a round, but I'd say we're generous, give him a round or two.
Yeah.
And then got a phone call from fella Russ Brown on a Biba Pro show in Grantham. That's Nottingham direction. Would you box such a lad for, I can't remember, Guy Silverman for WBU UK? That was the WBU, the Canadian one that Ricky Hatton held. It was the same organisation. There's two now, they're split. There's two different WBUs now, they're split up. There's the black belt, which is the original one, and there's the white belt. He goes, would you fight this kid? It was a welterweight. I me, yeah, okay. But he gave me like 8 weeks notice or so, 6-8 weeks notice. So I trained for that, and I won the title. And then the only other one was I got a British Masters title fight on one of Tommy Jacobs' shows in Colchester, just outside London.
Yeah.
And British Masters belt. A lot of people have won the British Masters, so a lot of decent names and all have won it stepping up. So I thought, I'd fancy that. So I did a bit of training for that. And I fought a fella, Luke Jr. Luke's on my Facebook, and he'd probably see this when it goes out. But Luke came up to me and goes, Marty, at the venue on the day of the fight, we was on the day weigh-in. And with the British Masters title, if you win it on the day, you can come in 2 pound heavier. But I weighed in perfect. I was middleweight. I weighed in perfect anyway. I was heavy for me still then. It was still heavy for me. And Luke came over to me and goes, Marty, Luke's sound, great bloke. Marty, this is going to sound bad, but I don't think I'm going to make weight. He says, I've been doing everything I can, starving myself to make the weight, but I don't think I'm going to make weight. It's me, right, mate. And then the guy from the British Masters came over and goes, this is the crack. We don't think he's made weight, but you're still going to fight for the title. But if he wins, he's not the champion.
Yeah,
but if you win, you are the champion. And then Tommy Jacobs, the promoter, came over to me. Tommy was a good fighter as well. He was in the same team as DeGale and Joshua when they were younger. Tommy goes over to me and goes, that bastard didn't make a weight. There's me, mate, he told me he tried his best to make a weight. He goes, did he fuck? I just got his fucking bill from last night's room service.
He made his decision when he got there. He wasn't making weight.
Because I just got his fucking thing, his room service bill from last night. That's why he didn't fucking make weight.
Jesus.
So I went out and I won, but I put a bit of training for that anyway, and I'd won that.
What's the longest over the rounds that you fought? 8 or 10?
Eight rounds, professionally 8 rounds, but I've done 12 rounds for a WBU semi-pro, they call it. I don't think there's such a thing as semi-pro. People are going to hate it.
It's just unlicensed.
It's unlicensed boxing.
But it's just a nice way of securing the venue and stuff and insurance.
That's the only reason you use semi-pro boxing is to get a venue.
Yeah.
You don't want to say it's an unlicensed show. I boxed Billy Rumble over 12 rounds unlicensed for the WBU semi-pro world title, and I got beaten points. I could have won that fight in the first round because I have a video and a clear picture. He punched me right in the gonads, like, in the first round. Big uppercut, clean. I could have went down, knocked it up, and won the fight on disqualification. You know, if I hadn't, you're given 5 minutes to recover, and if you can't make it, you can decide, no, I can't go on, and you win the fight disqualification then.
Yeah.
But I thought, fuck it, loads of people here came to, he's big ticket seller and all, and those people come to see him, so it just boxed on to the 12 rounds. Big Mark Potter, big friend of mine, was refereeing. Mark's dead now. Do you remember Mark Potter? He boxed Danny Williams. He's the guy that got knocked out by Danny Williams.
Oh yes, with the arm.
That time, yeah. So Mark's a school.
Look, that was a mad one too. If you haven't, if no one's seen that, go and Google that.
Crazy. I ended up doing.
Williams had a dislocated shoulder, and flipping Potter went for him too.
Yeah.
And he just flipping.
He was just going about with one arm, and they're going to pull him out. They're going to pull him out.
And he just it was an uppercut, like an uppercut.
Left uppercut from nowhere, just knocked him out cold.
Yeah, just as Potter stepped in, he just
with one arm, like.
Unbelievable.
But Mark was a friend of
I
mine.
got shivers thinking about that. Whoa, I remember it.
Mark was a friend of mine, and Mark goes, Marty, what do you want to do? I mean, I'll box on, mate. It was non-licensed show. It doesn't mean nothing to me. So.
Yeah.
But the fella I fought was Billy Rumble, who was a top England amateur, and he's more famous or infamous. Do you remember the video when Farrell?
I was going to say it, but I wasn't sure if I should say it. But that's all right. Well,
Billy's good lad. It's all blew over now.
Yeah.
The two coaches fighting outside.
The
championship.
What a scrap too.
That was
What a scrap.
They fell out at the weigh-ins for the kids, the youth championships, and they went outside and they sorted out like men.
Yeah.
They just sorted out like men, so there's nothing bad about it.
See the finish?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
I'm looking at it going, Billy didn't punch the guy when I fought him.
I remember seeing that, yeah. And it actually, because we've been away at a couple of the box cups, and the Rumbles boys have all been there and all, you're kind of looking
gentleman,
going,
but the complete gentleman. Billy the gentleman, and his dad as well. Gentleman, like.
I would tell our boys a story. I was like, see, boys, there's a video somewhere online, and get them to fucking scrapping outside.
And you saying about
brilliant, probably a better fight on the green than what was happening outside that night. Like.
And as you're saying about the Mark Potter thing, or Mark Potter's refereeing, but we mentioned Danny Williams. Went on then about 5 years ago. I ended up cornering Danny Williams.
That's right, you did, yeah.
Against Lee McAllister. Lee, as mentioned before, one of my good friends. Lee stepped up from, he won a WBU lightweight, it was lightweight world title, and then he was fighting Danny Williams for a heavyweight world title, and he was dwarfed by Williams, but it
was a sad affair though.
It was sad. Danny, Lee knows himself. Lee will tell you, he's not the Danny Williams he was when he knocked out Mike Tyson, you know what I mean? But
to tell you, that's always on him, the man that knocked out Tyson, but then boys would argue too. Tyson wasn't that himself or anything.
That's it.
I remember, so we fought Tyson, beat Tyson, and then Amir Khan was fighting in the King's Hall. He was only coming up. Danny Williams, I think, was co-main, or no, he wasn't headlining. I think he was co-main. I can't remember.
Do you know who boxed that bill as well? Tony Bellew.
Yeah, that's Tony was co-main. That's right. Tony was the co-main.
Yeah. See, my wife will watch this and go, how can you remember shit like that? When she sends me in the kitchen, I come back and what did you send me for?
No, it's the same as me. Where's my t-shirt? It's where you left it. Where'd I leave it? But yeah, no, that's right. Tony was on that shoot bill. And Danny Williams was on it. But I remember when Danny came out, the conversations around me at that time was like, that's the man that knocked out Mike Tyson, lads. You know, and I'm sort of standing going, pretty cool, like, you know what I mean? But no, I actually remember when you went out to do that with Danny. So I remember seeing videos or pictures of his.
I do hang about Danny Williams, right? As we were speaking off camera earlier about nerves. I never get nerves. I just don't get nervous. I'm going to have a fight where it happens. Danny Williams is the most nervous man in the world. He's in the changing room with us, and he's sitting. I was fighting for a PBC Celtic title against a good ex-amateur kid in Aberdeen, and I lost in points that night, and Danny was in the same changing room as me, and he's going, why are you not nervous? It's me, why should it be? You know, we're here for a fight. That's why we're fighters. Like, Danny admits himself, he's a bag of nerves before a fight. Like.
I remember, just on the topic with Danny Williams, the hype and the build-up, the time he was fighting Matt Skelton. Was it for the Commonwealth title or something?
Was Commonwealth.
Yeah, I remember. And the TV had actually put a good wee. I think it was on ITV. They put a good wee promo and all together of it, and Danny was out running and really getting himself geared up for it. Like
There was, at that time, there was Danny Williams, Orley Harrison, Matt Skeldon, and Martin Rogan. Mm-hmm. And Martin Rogan had beat everybody and never fought Danny Williams.
Yeah.
And so Martin came over with me to fight when I was fighting for that Celtic title, and Danny was on the bill. Mm-hmm. Martin came over with me to try and
set the fight up.
Martin had been retired for a few years, but to try and set that fight up.
Yeah.
And then Lee knocked Danny out, and that was it.
Yeah.
Blew it out of water. Like.
That was mad. Flipping. I remember Marty fighting Skeleton as well. Absolute war.
Never an adult. Marty's never going to be an adult fight, but if you put somebody Skeleton in front of him, it's going to be a war. Like.
It was an absolute war. Talk about a bowling ball as well. Like for heads, unbelievable. Yeah. But he just, Big Rogie just broke him, didn't he? He just like mentally, physically just destroyed him.
So much grit.
Was that before Rogie fought in the prize fight, or no? It was after.
No, it was after
the prize fighter.
Because the prize fighter was what brought
give him
Rogie,
the profile.
Give Rogie the profile and brought him the attention. Like that's what it was. So it was definitely after the prize fighter.
Yeah, flipping. He was in. He fought Fury and all too.
Yeah,
didn't he? He was flipping. It's mad. I was talking to a guy the other day, and like we were just talking about his fight career too, and the cards that he's boxed on, like on the undercards. He was a prospect at the time as well, and then came away from it. But he fought on Fury Rogan's undercard. I think he fought on another one of Tyson Fury's undercards, McCluskey's undercard. He fought on them all. It's like, flip me, all good. All big heavy builds, like.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to fight in the King's Hall or anything yourself?
I fought in the Ulster Hall as a pro, just in the Journeyman thing.
Yeah.
But I did fight in the King's Hall, but it was on a cage. It was on cage contender. And what I'd done was I was flying back from I'd fought on Friday night in England, and I was on the flight, just about to get on the flight on the way back, and John Ferguson, who ran cage contender, phoned me and goes, Marty, do you fancy taking a fight tomorrow, or do you fancy taking a fight tonight in the King's Hall? Asked me, what's the money like, mate?
Yeah.
I know you got a pocket full of cash from fighting the night before.
Yeah.
What's the money like? Asked me. And I was meant to be going.
There could be a holiday in this year.
I was actually meant to be going. I was meant to be getting off the flight, going home for a few hours, saying hello to fucking wife and kids, and then going out and working on the door. Mm-hmm. So what happened was, I ended up getting off the flight, going to the King's Hall, having a cage fight, getting choked out, and then going and working the door straight away after.
Whoa.
It was just a weekend of violence.
Just a weekend of pure violence. To getting choked out too, just lying in there, the guy gets a choke on, fair on, this is it.
That's.
Did you go right out to sleep?
No, I tapped out, mate. I tapped out. I'm not stupid in the cage. Mm-hmm. With the fight, yeah, I'll do what I need to do in that boxing ring, but the cage, I'm out of my depth in that with all that grappling holds. If I feel myself passing out or a limb being ripped out, I'll tap out. I'll stop that. Like.
Yeah. Because you have to go and do your day's work, and you have to be.
That's it.
You have to be sensible with it, don't you? What in terms of like war stories, we haven't even touched on the bare knuckle yet, but with the boxing, has there been prospects that have two-part question? Has there been prospects that have, when you've been in there, went fucking hell, surprise me here a wee bit, and also, on the other side of it, have you been in surviving going, Jesus Christ, like this is intense?
Then, as you say, the intense one, Lee Haskins. Like I think I was the first person to take Lee Haskins the distance, and I was a short notice as well. So I was very short notice as well. But that he could bang, like he could bang, but he was awkward as well. You know, we had that style. Yeah. So nobody knows, and Andy Myers. Great readers of a fight.
Yeah.
So I went back after, I took a bit of a hiding in the first round, went back after the first round, and I says, Marty, stand in the middle of the ring and wait him coming to you. And that was alien to Lee, because he was used to people chasing him about the ring and picking him off and knocking him out, getting him off balance, knocking him out.
Yeah.
So I stood in the middle of the ring. I was pushed back the odd time, but I stood back and stood there and use the jab, which I don't really have a jab, but use the jab and made Ogre from that. I think that's why I got through the rounds with Lee. Like.
Yeah.
And if you look at what Lee went on to do, like 2-time world champion, you know what I mean?
Do you ever sit though when you're looking at these lads, knowing as well too you were kind of just coasting with them at times? Do you ever think like, if I'd have stepped it up and stepped on the gas, I could have probably took another road?
Do you see, the thing is, right? I'm not one of these people going, I could have been what I could have been, because that's bullshit. You know what I mean? I believe if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. So when I first turned professional, I was just married and had our first child, and I couldn't go and follow that because I had to provide. So I couldn't have went and done that. So I'm not bitter about that anyway at all. I mean, it's just life's what it is.
And you still got the box. And
I've had a super career, a better career than some
I would agree.
top fighters. You know what I mean? I've had the life experience I've had out of it. I wouldn't swap for anything, to be honest. Like.
Yeah. And there you go. Some of the best lessons you learnt are in defeats.
That's it.
In a sense, you know what I mean?
I always say, if you don't win, you learn. I always say, no, if you don't win, you earn.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Follow the money, lads. But the bare knuckle. How did that come about, man?
Right.
Like, it's just the same thing, the same sort of promoters ringing you?
First bit of this phone call's not going to be PC, okay? So
no, that's okay. We're on unfiltered here. We're all right.
So it was over lockdown, and it was the first part of lockdown. It was in two parts. The first part, there was no fights happening. The second part, I'll go on that in a minute, but the first part, there was no fights happening. And Jim Freeman from BKB, he sent me a text. I had him on Facebook, but you know, you have people on Facebook you never spoke to before. I just got a message saying, hello, mate, just out of the blue from him. And I knew there was a behind closed doors show in a couple of days' time.
Yeah.
So I just messaged back saying, you just give me a hard on, don't let me down. Because I was busting the fight.
Yeah.
I needed to fight. Like, it was either get a fight or I was going to fight with the missus, and either way I was going to lose.
Yeah.
So he goes, what weight are you? I said, what weight do you want me to be? I'm a bit of a flirt.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is flipping. This is getting kinky here.
And he told me what weight, and I was lighter than he wanted. And here's me, yeah, mate, I'm bang on that. I was way lighter, like. And then the guy actually came in heavier than he was meant to as well, so it
balanced out.
No, it fucked it completely up because I was lighter than he was, and he was heavier than he was meant to be. So there was a bigger gap than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. But Reece Murray called me, went on to win. He's got a title in the BKB now, so he is.
Yeah.
Cracking guy, so he is too. Good fighter. He's went on to be. That was his debut in BKB, and it was my debut in BKB, and
2 debutants, right?
Yep.
Is the option or the opportunity there for you to go in and go, I'm going to try and piece him up here? Or are you still there as...
BKB, I wasn't going in as a journeyman. I was just going to have a fight. I just wanted to fight. So he beat me fair and square. I wasn't going in as a journeyman there. And to be fair to Jim Freeman and Joe Brown and BKB, they won't have journeymen. They won't have somebody going in to take a dive or do rounds. They won't do that. Every fight has to be a proper fight. So I did go and have a fight, but I was outclassed to be. But that's another funny story is Reece, every good interview, we all got sent over the day before in a hotel. They had the whole hotel floor rented out just for the boxers and the officials, and nobody was allowed to leave or nobody was allowed to come in. I went out the fire exit and got KFC, right? They put me at a window. My room window was right looking down over a KFC. So there was no way I was going to stay in the thing. So I went down, got my KFC, came back, and then got into this interview, and there was KFC wrappers and all was trying to hide on their pillows and stuff. And they were telling me when they were interviewing Reece, he was like, somebody mentioned the boxers were talking and the thing going, obviously some of them knew me from different things, go, aye, Marty's very good with his elbows, catching punches and all. He's a cross-arm guard. You hit him in the head, you're not going to hurt him, but this cross-arm guard, you'll hurt your hands on his elbows now. And Reece was like, what the fuck's this? And he was asking people about that, so he was, but that's just, your reputation goes before you.
Yeah.
But Reece just outboxed me. So he did. He just completely outboxed me. And I'm glad the style then that he had then, not the style he has now, because he's more brutal now. It would have been a far harder fight now for him, you know what I mean? But back then, it was... I knew I wasn't getting near him. I sort of did make myself a wee bit resigned to the fact I wasn't going to beat him after a couple of rounds, because I couldn't get near him. He's just tall and rangy, and he was just picking me off, and every punch is bone and bare knuckle, so you're going to cut. So that's when I first started to cut, so it was, and I haven't stopped bleeding since.
And that was the one above the above the eye?
Two above the eye, one below the eye, and that bare knuckle,
Jeebers, oh. Many rounds did you go?
It was only a 3-rounder. So
it
was a 3-rounder, that's what they were.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
They keep them kind of short, don't they?
Yeah, the BKFC is 3-minute rounds.
Right.
But for BKB, you're definitely better having 2-minute rounds, because it's too... There's going to be no action, 3-minute rounds. There's going to be no action because it's...
Painful,
brutal. Yeah.
Some are saying as well, like I read a statistic, it wasn't that long ago, that it's actually... Boys were arguing, and I think the thing came out that it was actually like safer. They're saying it's safer, albeit you're cut up a bit. You're
cut a bit, but I think it's safer with the brain.
Yeah.
The brain trauma is safer, I think, yeah. But the thing is, if I ask you to punch that wall now with a boxing glove on, as hard as you can, you'll punch it hard enough. I ask you to punch it hard without the boxing glove on, your brain's not going to let you punch that wall as hard as you did with the glove on, so the punches aren't as hard.
Yeah.
Plus, there's not as many punches, because people are scared to leave themselves open.
Yeah.
If you waste a shot and leave yourself open, you're going to be chinned.
Yeah.
So
accuracy's a big one as well, I would imagine.
100%.
Get the angle wrong on the punch, or misplace a step, catch an elbow or something that stirs the hands away.
Yeah. And that most men have to work, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's it.
Even professionals have to work, you know what I mean?
I remember watching one. I remember watching a guy, and it would always be a fight that I would still go back now and again and watch. Just, I thought he was class in it. Tyler Goodjohn. I think he fought an American dude.
He's fighting Paulie Malignaggi next.
Yeah, he is. That's right. I seen that announced. I might watch that one. Try and watch that one, actually. But he was fighting this guy. He had long hair. I think the guy had long hair, but I forget his name. I think he was an American. And I had just came across it one day by accident, and I was like, this guy is brilliant. Jabs were coming, and he was just missing there. In close, catch, rip. This boy's brilliant. And then obviously I looked into it a bit, and he was like, fuck, he was a pro boxer and whatever. But you could see it.
I might be wrong here, but I think he got his license taken off in pro boxing because, this is how stupid it was, because he said he used a sweatsuit.
Yeah, no, that is true. He's on record saying that.
He says he used a sweatsuit, and they're against that. But you know yourself, everybody does it.
That's it.
But because he was caught saying it on film, that's why he got a ban.
They banned him.
Yeah.
I know, it's mad. And then he went into the world of bare knuckle, like.
And porn.
That's right, he done the porn too. Yeah. Because I remember, after I seen the fight, I
don't remember because I didn't see it, but you just said you remembered.
I do. Still my favourite one. Whenever after I'd seen the fight, I typed his name in then to YouTube and Google and stuff to try and check him out. And an interview came up, I think he was with James English or something. And then they were talking about a documentary that was done on him. I think it was called, was it Unbroken? Unbroken or something? I was like, fuck, I'm going to have a look at that. And he kind of went into his career as a pro and stuff in it, and watched that. But I think his girlfriend at the time, she was a porn star or something.
Porn star, that's how you did it,
Yeah. But then I think he got done over as well, like in America. He was taken out, fought or something, and then wasn't paid.
I think I did
something, and then he got left. I think he was stuck out there or something. But would you ever go back to the bare knuckle if the phone call went?
I had a fight a couple of Christmases ago. I boxed. It was an unlicensed boxing show with kickboxing stuff on it. But there was a guy, Lee Spencer, a good friend of mine now, who I was light, so it wasn't. He was a middleweight world champion and stuff in the IBA in England, and unlicensed, and his opponent didn't turn up this night boxing about 7-8 years ago, and Alan asked me would I fight him, but he didn't put me under any orders. He says go out and have a fucking fight with him. So I ended up beating Lee that night, and as I say, Lee will laugh at this, but I think it's been eating away at least. So it was eating
Yeah,
away at least
yeah,
that a Journeyman beat him, and he called me out for a bare knuckle fight. Then about 7-8 years later, and we fought in a cage, but bare knuckle. It was a show of like MMA on it, grappling on it, kickboxing on it, boxing on it. And then we were the top of the bill, one bare knuckle fight on it, and Lee tromped me in the fucking bare knuckle. Like he just my face just opened, like he just too many cuts, like.
Yeah.
Like I ended up getting internal stitches and external stitches.
Jesus.
Can I jump in here and ask you a quick question?
Yep.
I want to know, like, what's your internal dialogue? You know, because you said there you love to fight, obviously, but you've upped the levels of violence with like each type of fighting you've done.
Yeah.
So what goes on in your head to say to yourself, you know, is it the adrenaline? You know, you want to get in there and you just want an outlet for violence, or is it to test yourself in a way too? You know, against these people as well.
You do have to test yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
But because you feel alive when you're fighting. You feel alive.
Yeah.
That's one of my things. That's why I'm definitely going to miss it. Everybody goes, what are you going to miss the money? You're going to miss this. But when I'm fighting, even if I'm in there just going through the routine, I feel alive in there because I'll go in for a 30-second burst and have a decent fight. So it's somebody said to me before, you only die once, but you live every day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is.
That's it. And the thing is I would get in now and again, although I'm not supposed to, but I get in now and again with some of the lads, and I would in a sense journeyman them when I would be sparring and whatever. But I do because it does put you in that wee bit of. For me, it's like when you're catching, knowing you can still turn it on if you want.
Yeah.
You can look after yourself, but just being in that wee moment again.
Yeah.
I'm carrying a couple of injuries, so I have to be extra cautious with what I'm doing.
Yeah,
so it keeps me sort of on the ball. But if I had to come back, I've said this on loads of occasions to all my boxers. It's over like that. So sometimes it's out of your hands. But if I could come back, the buzz of winning and the buzz of fighting is great, and you can't replace it. But the one feeling I would come back for is literally only about 4 or 5 seconds for me. And you do your walkout, it has its own wee thing. You get into the ring, you're getting your instructions, but everyone's still kind of present at that time. You go back to the corner and everyone steps away, and there's a wee lull for a couple of seconds where you can just, for me, I always used to nod. Any wee footage I have of my fights, you always see me coming back and like nodding. But it was like the wee chatting to myself, like, here we go.
I don't know if you've seen on Facebook lately, but it's been on every boxer's Facebook page about that 10 minutes in the changing room can before the fight can strip a man down bare and all.
Yeah.
I've seen everybody put that up lately, right? But that's one of my favourite times. See the changing room before a fight. It's the best crack ever.
Yeah.
Like it's
That's because you're a nutcase, but
but it is. It's just such good crack. Like it's
but no, that's what it would be. I never really would have got spooked in the changing rooms or anything. Even now, going to fights with some of the kids and even the seniors, whenever I'm getting into the change rooms, I can still feel that wee bit of like excitement and.
Yeah.
But for me, it was always walking to the rings, kind of where it was like. It's getting real now.
The gladiator.
And then walk. As I say, get your instructions, go back to the corner, and especially if there's a wee bit of a delay at ringside or something with a timekeeper. But it's just them few seconds where here we go.
That's it, yeah.
No? And that's that.
You just as I say, you feel alive, don't you?
Yeah.
For that, you just feel
nothing
alive.
else matters, and the whole world just goes silent.
Yeah.
For me, that's when everything just switched off, and that was it. Kind of, you're in the moment.
Yeah.
The only time you're ever really going to be truly honest and in the moment, like there's nothing, is fighting.
No, what usually is everyone goes silent. People say when you're in the ring you don't hear anything, right? I hear everything. I hear people at ringside shouting, knock him out and all, and I look down at them and I'm going, behave yourself and all. I'll stop in the middle of a fight. I've been video loads of times. I stop in the middle of a fight and look down at somebody in the crowd and go, behave yourself. Because they're not knocking me out, like, you know what I mean? I was fighting on an unlicensed show years and years ago, and the fella I was fighting, it was his sister, was giving me dog's abuse, right? And he goes, knock the ugly bastard out. And I stopped mid-round, right? Dropped my hands down. him standing in front of me, he looked down and goes, "You know I'll paint yourself, love." And she got up and walked out of that place fucking in tears. She was cut to the bone. I hear the crack I have with the supporters is fucking great. Like,
Yeah.
they all buy me. I don't drink anyway. People don't believe that, but I don't drink.
Yeah.
But the drinks lined up for me after every fight I'm at. The people are
You bring the entertainment and you bring the...
my opposition supporters are all buying me drinks and going, "Here, got you drinking?" I go, "I don't drink, man." But
yeah. Cheers, thanks for that, but I don't have it. It is class, like. But I think in that sense too, you're kind of there. The fight's the fight, but I kind of feel like in your position, things are just a wee bit different because you're going in knowing kind of, just to take this boy around here and have a bit of fun, as opposed to this boy stands between me and kind of my opportunity, you know.
The pressure I'm under is making sure I don't get stopped.
And making sure you don't knock them out.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's the case. Like, I punch like a girl, I don't really knock them out. I've only one knockout in my pro record, and that was in Czech Republic. And Czech Republic's a horrible place.
Yeah.
So the guy bothered me in the first round. So I've had him it was his pro debut, and I had him a right hook to the body. It's a punch I never really throw because it's sloppy or out sort of, but I just want to get something hard and just put some manners into him, and he went down and didn't get up. He was rolling about, and I fucking won that fight. So we only win by stoppage. Yeah. And it was an accident too, so it was.
And you tried it every other fight and just...
I can't throw a right hook, like, it's just so fucking sloppy. Like.
Yeah.
But,
I remember watching, it was a Journeyman, I forget his name.
Tony Booth. I know what you're going to say. He did the alley shuffle. Somebody shouts out to the crowd, "You fat bastard." He does the alley shuffle. The boy's schooling him.
Yeah.
It looks like he's getting schooled.
Yeah.
Big Tony Booth, light heavyweight. He actually boxed churros and boys like that. He's boxed everybody. What do you call that kid that boxed Joe Gilzaghi? He actually had a win over him as well, so he did, and he's a journeyman, and he actually beat the guy that Joe Gilzaghi beat.
Right.
But it was in Slough or somewhere like that down south, and I've been on a few shows with Tony, and we've picked Tony, the minibus, the Peacock minibuses, went around picking the fighters up from the airport or whatever, picked Tony up drinking a shandy outside the bar, and he says put the pint down and get in the bus and went and had a fight. But Tony was in the ring and he's getting schooled, as people would think. He's in the end of this boy's job.
Yeah. And
all you hear from the crowd is, it's videos you hear clear as day, is, "Knock the fat bastard out." And Tony just does an alley shuffle, throws a hook and knocks him spark out cold. He oxygen job. That's a famous clip. I'll maybe send you.
Yeah, send me it over. Send me it over. The one I'm thinking of, I think the boys were later. They were in the later weights, but I think we were over in England fighting with one of the pro kids, and I seen the guy there that night, and then I started getting all these clips sent me. The Journeyman sparked this prospect right out. But it was a pure accident. It was just a natural roll under. No, he didn't. The boy threw a jab and the boy just stepped aside and just arm punched over him.
Yeah.
But just hit
him
hit him lovely. And everybody went ballistic. The Journeyman kind of, you can see him kind of standing like,
I don't really, a couple of times you'll see, as I say, I punch like a girl. I don't punch hard enough to knock boys out, but there's a couple of times I've dropped people and you can see me walking back to the neutral corner going, what have I done?
Please get up. Please get up and hammer me. I know. We'll just touch on this quick because some places you've said are good, some places you've said are bad. What is your kind of best and worst kind of like locker room hotel moment where you're just laying there going, fuck, I know.
Sure, I boxed in the Ricky Hatton Bills and stuff, and that was amazing. Scott Dixon was in my changing room all, and Scott was fucking... Scott actually knocked out Jamie Moore that night, or Anthony Farnell, one or two, and a big shock, so he did. And I was sure changing him, and that was my second pro fight on Ricky Hatton on the card, and I was like, oh, this is amazing though. But the fights away in like Madrid and places like that, it's just surreal that you're being flown out these places. And having said that, just lately, I was sitting on a beach in Sardinia the day before the fight and put a couple of posts up on social media showing off as you do, like, and people are going, "Ah, you jammy bastard," and all. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, no, I'm not even enjoying this. I'd rather be at home, like. I have 2 grandkids now, so I have.
Yeah.
Don't know if I've mentioned that before, on social media.
I don't know.
So I've got Caden, my grandson. He's 3. He's my best friend. We do everything together, like. And I've got Bea. She's 2, my granddaughter, and she's class. So you see a wee bit of a bruise on my eye there. That was Bea the other day. Hit me with something, like. She's violent, like. But I was sitting there going, Bea wasn't born time, it was just Caden at this time. I was sitting on like a beachfront in Sardinia going, I'd rather be in Delmont Park playing with the wee lad than here. Like, I just, so I prefer, like, I'm fighting tomorrow. I'm flying to London tomorrow morning. I'm flying back from London on Sunday. So we see a wee day return was brilliant.
They suit you better.
Brilliant. You can pay the same.
Yeah.
Without having to spend 3 or 4 days away somewhere.
Yeah.
Like. So...
While it is nice too, it's like it's just bringing it back to what matters. It's just...
That's the other for a job. Now, the night that boxed at heavyweight in Germany in Baden-Baden was a guy, Peter Stoughton, from Essex. I've known Peter a long time. But he was 49 and made his pro debut that night. As a 49-year-old, made his pro debut. He hasn't fought again since, but he's a good lad. But me and him, all the young lads went out to nightclubs after the fight. So me and Pete went back to the hotel and had a steak and sat and talked shit. It was far better than all that.
No, that's it. All the young ones though think that's the way, but it's not until you you get the experience and you get on a wee bit in life where you realise that it's the likes of the steaks and a wee Guinness or something or whatever. It's just enjoy a good crack. It's more crack than anything. So it is. So what?
Talking about steaks, it's my 80th pro fight tomorrow night, right? It's a bit of a milestone, right? So I think I will be a Centurion. I think I will do the 100 fights. I know I'm 50 this year and it's pushing it where I'll get licensed or not, but I've had that many licenses, so I'll get licensed somewhere. But Lee McAllister...
Boys are watching this now going...
Lee McAllister has promised me a steak tomorrow night.
Right, okay.
To celebrate my 80th thing, yeah.
Rock on the steaks.
Do you want to... I'll bring you up something that you do not know about this, right? So, this is one you wouldn't have touched on. So far, as a professional, right, I've had the British Boxing Board of Control licence. I've had the British and Irish Boxing Authority licence. I've had a Malta licence, a German licence, a Lithuanian licence, a Polish licence, and a German licence. And at the minute, I'm on an Indian licence.
Again, funny, I don't know if you might recall it, the times when we had the conversation that time, whenever Jack fought.
Yeah.
I said, don't know if I'll be able to get... And you'd actually said that.
He was a nipper at the time.
He was, yeah. He says, don't worry, get your licence, like, it's no problem. So do you find anyone from the unlicensed kind of scene now at the minute, semi-pro scene, whatever, from anywhere you've been kind of... are looking to kind of maybe make the conversion over to pro, or is there some boys where they would want to do it and you kind of would like to say to them, catch a grip of yourself, mate?
My inbox on Facebook every week is full of boys from the unlicensed scene going, I might turn pro, but I know if I was to turn them over, because I do manage a few people and sort of help manage a few people. There's Cara McLaughlin from Cookstown.
Yeah, give them a mention, 100%.
I think she's had about 14 pro fights now, and she's fought in the States 5 times, and that was me who sort of got her in that direction, got her turned pro and got her turned over, and she's done.
What weight does she box at?
She's flyweight to bantamweight. Flyweights are natural weight, but she's got 2 wins out of about 12 or 14, but she's on the road, she's boxing, she's living the dream, she's boxing in the States 5 times, maybe 6 times, maybe. And what makes it good too is she's got a sister in the States and they be able to meet up and all when she goes over and fights over there. But there's a couple of different... Rankle Patrick, I've got him to turn pro and he's doing alright. He's a journeyman. But my inbox is full of boys from the unlicensed scene over here going, I want to do that. But a lot of them I won't look at because you're fighting this guy, he's 5 fights, 5 wins, 5 knockouts, they'll go, oh, no. Everybody wants to win. They don't understand what boxing the road means. I mean, they all want to win, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It is, you find, like, as well, we would do the commentating on some of the shows, and some shows you're going to, you're kind of going,
There's too many egos. That's what there's too many egos. I know a lot of people maybe take us to heart, but there's too many egos on the unlicensed scene at the minute. So
I don't even think anyone could argue the fact that like there is. There's a couple. There's two lads at the minute who I think are doing a good job at it. Their wee setups are good, everything's good, but and they are. We have actually been on.
Yeah.
Like one of the shows. I've seen you at them.
Yeah.
One of them, I think, two of them that I would know is doing well. But do you never think of putting your own on ever again, or?
See, we were the IBA, the Irish Boxing Show. We were probably the original one that was blurting the shows out.
Yeah, that's right.
I know Sandy Rice did shows before, but we were the original one.
You were the first.
Blurting them out. But at the minute, I just don't like the ego thing. All these boys have 20 sponsors over their t-shirts and all. I've been pro 24 years and never had a sponsor. Don't get me wrong, people have helped me out here and there without me asking, but they've never asked for nothing in return, never asked for advertising or anything, you know what I mean? But it's just too many egos at the minute. But I'm too busy fighting as well at the minute because, as I say,
there's a lot of work goes into running the shows, like, isn't there?
Oh, there is. I could, for what you make out of a show, I could get a phone call to say, right, you're fighting on Saturday night, and I've maybe got a show plan, and I'll be losing that for the sake of all the hard work. So at the minute, I'm concentrating on another 20 fights after tomorrow, and that'll be a Centurion. 100 fights. My missus is going to be wild. My missus won't even watch us. Actually, she doesn't give a shit about boxing. But she'd be going, you're not going on for another year.
But that's in pro boxing alone. That isn't counting the unlicensed fights.
Oh, unlicensed.
That's not. How many fights now do you reckon you've had? At least 300, 400?
Close to 400, yeah. Close to 400.
I think I said to you earlier, well, I said about 350 odd fights.
Like. Close to 400 now, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm still pretty.
You're still. I was gonna say, yeah, I know you're still
bad camera.
Still a poster boy, like still a poster boy. So just while we're kind of getting to the current day and wrapping up, like, what are your thoughts on, like, the protection for journeymen in terms of trying to keep them in the game, and like, is it the same way where you're brought in and then just forgotten about when you step away? Or
without a doubt, there's nothing for it. Like, I know a couple of them have maybe gone on to be referees and stuff, but it's like any boxer. Unless you're top flight, like Carfrack or somebody like that, you'll get pundit jobs. Like Carl Frampton, brilliant pundit. Like boys like that will, because of their name, and they'll get jobs like that, but anybody away from the top class, they're through the side. But
and that's kind of one of the darker sides of boxing, isn't it? You can achieve everything, and once you're done, you're done. You're just 3 into the back, and it's on to the next one.
Yeah.
What is what's next for you then? Like, so obviously you want to get the 100 pro fights.
That's ambitious, to be honest now, because getting 20 fights before somebody decides I'm too old to license, because I'm 50 this year. I'm 50 in December here. So the 100 pro fights is probably a bit ambitious, but
it's an aim.
I just want to see what I can just finish off strong.
Yeah.
See what I can do. As you say, the Journeyman thing, I've picked up 3 wins in my last 5, and that has been just... You're
like a fine wine, you're getting better with age.
No, it's not. It's just like, that ego's annoying me. I'm going to beat him here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but...
That's just bringing as well, but your experience in class for even how simple you can make it just to do that.
I got that guy 2 weekends ago. I was just thinking we step back and jab, and every time he stepped in at me, and he couldn't hit me.
Yeah.
It's just silly wee things that if he had got me on a good night, I would have stood there toe-to-toe and he could have picked the shots against me, but because he annoyed me, it was just I'm just going to
make this messy for him.
Yeah.
Have you seen a change in boxing, or have you found like boxing's kind of changed over the years, or in terms of ego's won, but politics in it, or...
I'm not calling myself a hard man by any means. There's not as many hard men in boxing as used to be.
I've said this.
Yeah.
They're like they're like throwback Spartan.
They're athletes.
Yeah.
They're athletes now, where before they were gladiators. And I've noticed that, like, they just they're not fighting men, and
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like John Fury there, but they're not proper.
Would you fight John?
Without a doubt, man, he's my age.
He's looking for somebody.
Yeah, I know he is, but
Any man 50 plus on the planet.
but the thing with John Fury is, if I say yeah, I'll fight him, the fight's never going to happen then.
I know.
Because as soon as somebody steps up and says yeah, I'll fight John, he doesn't want to know. He doesn't talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
He just talks about it until somebody agrees.
Is there a thing with him and Joe Egan?
Yeah.
Seen Joe Egan doing a thing about wanting the boxing?
Joe, I know Joe. Joe's interviewed me a few times, so he has. Joe hasn't boxed in years. The hardest weight man on the planet, according to Mike Tyson and stuff like that. And he's a tough guy. He's one of them old school guys. You just look at and you go, oh, you know, he can fucking rumble like.
He walked out in the gunfire and all, didn't he?
Yeah, just walked at them.
Yeah,
they were shooting. He
shooting
just
at him. He just walked at them. Yeah,
crazy man. Him and thing will never happen because he wants to fight John Fury, and John Fury won't fight anybody who wants to fight him.
Yeah.
I know he keeps going on about the Mike Tyson fight, but you're thinking, fuck, if you fight Mike Tyson, you fight anybody at that age. But anybody could fight Mike Tyson if you're getting paid well enough for it, because if you lose to Mike Tyson, you've fought Mike Tyson.
Fought Mike Tyson and beat him. What did you feel with the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight? Did you think Tyson held back a bit? You hear a lot of things. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it on the night, but I've watched it since then. Clips and stuff of it. I haven't watched the whole fight. Watched clips and stuff of it. I actually think the opposite, and people laugh at this. I think Jake Paul held back sometimes. People are going, they seen Mike Tyson go to throw a punch and stop. But if you're an educated point of view on that is, sometimes you will go through a punch and go, oh fuck, I'm leaving myself open here. And stop yourself. And I think that's what he was doing. That's what was,
I think Jake Paul carried Mike Tyson. Jake Paul's not the worst boxer in the world for a novice.
Yeah.
And he's a big, strong guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's never going to be a world champ. Well, you never know the way money talks like. But he's not world class. But he's for a novice. He's living the life.
Yeah.
And he's not the worst novice in the world.
You do have to give him credit where
against
credit's
a
due.
60-year-old man, he's going to beat him no matter how good the 60-year-old man was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I actually think Jake Paul was the one held back in that fight. I've said this before, and people have thought, nah, but I honestly do.
Think that he was the one that held back. What keeps you motivated at 50?
There's a lot of things. Like, I hate the travelling. I like meeting up with mates. Some of my best mates are on the boxing scene in England and Scotland and travel Europe with me and stuff. So I love meeting up with my mates. The money, obviously. And I just love a ruck, like. Even though sometimes I'm just going through the motions, as I say before, every 30 seconds here I'll put it in them and show them I can still do it if I have to. So I enjoy the fight. I'm saying, I'm going to contradict myself here because I'm saying about there's too many egos in the unlicensed game, semi-pro, whatever you want to call it. But when I step out tomorrow night, I am somebody. Do you know what I mean? There's hundreds of people, thousands of people there.
Yeah.
Fucking, alright, they might be shouting at me, calling me a cunt, but I'm somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm somebody.
Yeah.
And it's just that, I think that's going to be hard to give up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
How do you replace the buzz? How do you replace the feelings? Something that when all the boys retire, especially guys that have been in the game as long as you, it's like, how do you replace it? A lot of them go down wrong roads and stuff, but
I think I'm just going to make memes on Facebook and slay people.
you're an expert in that already, like, to be fair.
I don't know, to be honest.
Some things in the boxing world happen, and it is said, it's like, give Marty 1 hour, and he's posted about it.
There's
You posted one the other day about two boys having a face-off. He put it in the app and they were kissing and all.
Oh, I but today what happened to me, the guy Rudy Farland thing.
Yeah.
Borland, Matty Borland.
Seen that, I was like,
I don't drink.
Marty, like.
I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs or anything. I've never done anything like that. So I'm not going to go down that road of addictions and stuff. So I don't know, to be honest.
Do you get involved in maybe coaching, mentoring, or?
I started up East Down Amateur Boxing Club years ago. I've stepped away over the last couple of years, but I'm going to start getting back into it now. I'm going to get my child protection license and stuff all done. I'm going to start coaching again. So we'll be doing that. But I've got my 2 grandkids and all keep me occupied now, you know what I mean? So I can spend more time with them, you know what I mean? Because there is times where I've maybe planning on doing something, taking the superhero thing at the weekend, and I get a fight and I can't do it or something, you know what I mean? So I'll be kept occupied there. Like.
Is the thoughts to do a knobby knobs and have maybe, would that be an option?
I can't, well, as I say, I do match pro, I help matchmakers at the minute with different ones, just with people I know and stuff and know who their free agents are, and I do a wee bit of the matchmaking at the minute, so I could go into the management, and there's a few boys that I've got my eye on that I am going to turn over, like, off the unlicensed scene, but that's just going to be, I'm just going to play with that. That's not going to be, it'll replace a wee bit. But you see, to be honest, see when I'm managing somebody, see once I've had them away once or twice, I'll be doing everything from the phone then. They're going to be on their own.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do it the hard way, the way I did, because I was always on my own. Even when I was with Nobby at the start, Nobby would phone me, I'd jump on the plane, he'd pick me up at the airport and meet me at the show, and then after the show, find my way back or whatever, you know, thing. So I've done everything the hard way. So if anybody wants to be on the road the hard way, if they want me to turn them over, that's what they're going to have to do. I'll look after them the first couple of fights, and then after that I'll be just telling them where and when they're fighting.
Where and when they're fighting.
Yeah, and getting their licenses sorted out. So
yeah, mad. I might turn over myself.
You should do, mate. But I heard Jack schools you in sparring, so
see whoever told you that needs their fucking eyes tested.
Get me made up later for that.
Yeah, we'll get a wee picture before he leaves. So I'll lie down. See, that's not Muhammad Ali and Sonny listening. See out there, that's me and Jack. After he was flipping late in one night.
Some of the hardest spars I have were against my son.
Yeah.
Aye.
We actually, in fairness, Jack actually said to me not that long ago, he said, can we start like getting back in, and because whenever he was coming through the boxing and stuff, I would have got in and sparred with him, you know, when he was young, and showed him a couple of things, and then he got serious with it. And even through like his competition years, sometimes if I felt he wasn't getting what he needed, I'd have got in and just, okay, I can give him a wee bit of pressure here. Or
there's times my wee lad was young, like, and I was sparring him, and he came home with black eyes and stuff, like me taking him home to his mom with black eyes and stuff, and he's only a kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's times where, like, for that Phil Townley fight where I says I started sparring my son, he gave me fucking way more than Phil Townley ever gave me. He was getting better at me in sparring, you know what I mean? But he was due to turn pro, and whatever and set up and all, had his license and all agreed, and he just never turned up at the gym one day, and just
that was it.
That was it. It's never been back since.
Are any of the grandkids showing kind of any wee hints that they might veer into the boxing?
Be the granddaughter, I would put him with anyone now. I put him with British level now.
Yeah.
She's brutal. She's strong, like she fishes a wee girl. Caden, he's into the football, he loves his football and stuff, so he does all. He's only 3, but he likes his football and stuff, so we'll just see what way it goes. But I wouldn't force anybody in the boxing.
No, it's not something you can force them into.
My own son just decided I had his pro contract all set up, and he just walked away and never came back, and I never asked him to come back because
it's not a game you can push them or force them into.
It's not like football, you're getting punched in the face, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Whether you're flipping on a good day or a bad day, your job is to turn up and perform, really, isn't it? And that's it in a way. But mate, I hope you, for your ambition's sake and stuff, I hope you get your 100 fights.
It's doubtful, to be honest, but we're going to push.
The closer it looks like a possibility, I think we all might try and get out to it, and we'll be your wee cheer squad. Go on, Marty! Go on, Marty! Sick of him!
I don't know if I can do that, man. I get stage fright or something. I've never had a crowd before.
But like, if the performance is going bad, we'll just start hurling insults at you. That's it, Marty.
I'll cheer me up, man.
Yeah. Well, Marty, I think I've kept you long enough. I could pick your brains all night, to be honest, but I think I've kept you long enough. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, mate. A pleasure.
And chatting
Thanks
to us.
for having me.
It's great to have you on. And hopefully, maybe if we get that 100th fight as a pro, we can maybe come back on and talk a bit about how that is and what's next, maybe.
100%, mate, yep.
Thank you very much, mate, for coming on.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you. Folks, this has been episode 10 of the Punchline Podcast. I hope you have enjoyed this as much as me. And here's to the next 10. Keep liking, keep commenting, keep subscribing and whatever else we're doing. And yeah, see you on the next one.